Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. Unfortunately, there is no more podcast for the rest of the season as we are now confirmed staying in the Premier League. Is that true, Dave? Confirmed? Done? Safe?
Nearly there. Not mathematically, but we're nearly there. Yeah, it won't be. It's just like the good old days under Mick McCarthy when we stayed up. We used to have the pitch invasion. That's when I know it'll be. We're definitely safe anyway.
So, because we're not mathematically safe, we're gonna carry on with the podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, wounded. I thought our Monday nights we could all spend it down the pub instead. But we are, of course, recording this on a Wednesday night after the Palace game because we thought we didn't want to try and put it out on a Tuesday. It's pretty much got no shelf life. So, of course, we're looking at the last two fixtures. I am your host, Matt Cooper, and as you already know, I am joined by the man himself, Dave Azzopardi. Dave, how are you, mate? Better after last night?
Yeah, very well, and yeah, even better after the win yesterday. So, things are looking much, much better, thankfully.
The life of a Wolves fan. We are a full house today, of course. We're joined by Jord Russell. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you for asking. All is well. Last night was a bit, I don't know, bittersweet. It was weird, wasn't it? It was. We got the 3 points, but it was such an awful game of football. It was absolutely terrible. What an Premier League.
I know. Yeah, the only thing I know is if we'd have played that game in October, we'd have been losing that game 3 or 4-1, though. To be honest with you,
Absolutely.
So the tide has turned. So happy days. 3 points, 3 points.
Exactly, mate. And of course, we are joined by Finn Morris. Finn, how's things, mate?
Yeah, all good, thank you. I think you could say we enjoyed the destination, not the journey last night, wasn't it? It was, sort of like, it was all right getting there, but it wasn't fun. But happy that we are now totally mathematically safe. 50-1, it's easy. We can retire now.
The Wolves now 50-1 to go down.
Yeah, I saw we were 50 and Palace were 300 or something, and yet we're on the same points and it's only different goal difference. But I suppose they take fixtures into account. But still, strange one. But I think 50 is still, no, it's probably about fair. I'm not going to put anything on it, put it that way.
No. What were Leicester when they won the league? Was it 500-1 or 5,000?
5,000. See, I was having this debate the other day. Brighton at the moment are 4,500. How will Leicester 5 when everyone starts on the same point? You know what I mean? Sorry, Brighton to win the league. How can they do that from here? How is that less likely than Leicester winning the you know what I mean?
No team at the start of the season is in no teams fought 5,000 to 1. I think maybe 3,000 is the max limit because some sad cases had Leicester and the bookies are flapping it, weren't they? Who's having Leicester? I saw that someone had some. I can't remember what the bets were, so I'm not going to go into it. But before we go into the niceties and the pleasantries of Wolves Palace, unfortunately, we are going to have to cover the Leicester versus Wolves game at the King Power on Saturday, Dave. Coming into this unchanged, I think that's as a collective what we asked for. No Neves from the start, and it looks like we were going to reap what we sowed. Sowed? Sowed a word?
Sowed.
So yeah, reap what we sowed.
Soon.
with that, the first 20-25 minutes, mate, I thought we were excellent.
Yeah, I think the unchanged selection was the right one. There was loads of debate last week about Neves. Probably some people going a little bit over the top in regards to sort of doubting his quality as a footballer. But I think when we were playing so well, unbeaten and free, won the last 2 without him, I think it was only fair he kept with the most of the same 11. And yeah, like you said, we started off really, really well, pressing high, from the front, and that's what caused the opening goal. But yeah, up until the penalty, which I'm sure we'll talk about, it was some of the better football that we've seen under Lopetegui. To be honest, it was just disappointing how it all sort of came tumbling down.
Jord, great start, wasn't it? And I know Leicester had that chance early on, but the way that we scored, pressing with intensity, forcing opposition to mistakes higher up the field, you've always got a better chance of putting it in the net.
Yeah, that's always been sort of our limitation of this Wolves version since we've been in the Premier League is intensity and pressing teams and getting on the front foot, pressing hard at the pitch. But with Lamina and Nunez, it allows you with that athleticism to actually do that. And it's nice to see us do it for a change rather than other teams do it to us a lot. And that goal's just come out of pure tenacity from Lamina. Spoke to Cunha, and to be fair, I think a lot hasn't been said about it. I think it's actually a really good finish as well.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Really composed. Yeah, unbelievable finish. So yeah, look, it was great to see in that first 35 plus, the first 35 minutes were one of the best away performances I've seen us from Wolves in the Premier League, full stop. And then obviously it all come crashing down pretty quickly.
Yeah, Finn, you went to the game, didn't you?
Yeah. As the only one that actually turns up to these games anymore.
We just decided to turn up for the podcast instead. So. What was the atmosphere like in the away end? It sounded, especially when the Cunha goal went in, like from the stream that I was watching on, it sounded like it was bouncing.
It was brilliant, yeah. It was, and we were playing so well, as you said, up to that point where it was sort of audible that when they do the little back heel 3 or 4 passes, it was that sort of I was really enjoying myself in that way. You know what I mean? Where everyone's sort of going so we're all getting a little bit overexcited. But no, it was good away end. It was weird. It was really cold at the back, really warm at the front was my main analysis of it. We were freezing at the back. You go down to the front into the sun, it was lovely. But apart from that, first half an hour was great. And it was bouncing, but equally, the thing is, Leicester had that drum. I don't know if you heard, they had that drum just to the left side. Yeah. And then we got the goal, and he's still doing because they're all and they're clappers and all sorts. And then the goal shut them up. So the drum's just going on his own. He's like going bong bong, and no one's saying anything. Then all of a sudden, you give him that lifeline to then spark it back in. And I'd say, to be fair, even when we went behind, the atmosphere there was the best I've ever seen at Leicester. Those sorts of grounds, it's literally carbon copy like Leicester, Southampton. You know, that sort of like the bowl, it's either put it in blue or red, and you never really get much atmosphere. But they were the last 10 minutes of the game, you could literally feel the stadium shaking. I mean, it's probably because it's a tiny soulless bowl, but you could feel it shaking. It was good atmosphere. Everyone had a go at a good atmosphere, if you know what I mean, in the stadium.
Yeah. I think a lot of clubs are tarnished as tin pot if they have a drum, but most grounds that I've been to who have got the drum, the atmosphere seems to be better because it's more in sync, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what the.
It's all right if you've got one. It pisses you off if it's the other team. I'd say the consensus is it's a bit like having a Diego Costa or something. It's all right if you've got him, but you're going to hate him the other way around. But I don't know. I liked when Wolves had the Punjabi vibe because then it's sort of it's a little bit different. I remember that. I think it was Nottingham Forest, the Cavallero song. I'll always remember that doing the sort of Punjabi remix. And I think we should get in if we're going to do something like that because it sort of brings the sort of doll. Yeah, it brings sort of a bit of difference as well. I'd be all for that, but the Leicester one didn't half piss me off. It was rather annoying.
What do you reckon, Dave? You against the drum?
No, I think.
You prefer a clap?
We spoke about it before. The doll would be good. I think you don't want to have it every single home game. I think that would just be a bit overkill. But if you could pinpoint maybe 5 to 10 home games a season to get it in, I think just. Maybe some of the bigger games to get the atmosphere going, something like that. I wouldn't be against it. But the same with the flags and stuff that we've got at the moment, probably 50-50 split in terms of the South Bank of people that are all for it and all against it. But then the same with away fans that probably come and look at some of them will look at it and think it's tin pot, and others will look at it and think it's absolutely class and they would wish to have it at their club. So it's just as football is, it's just horses for courses, isn't it? Opinions. So
you're not adverse to it, are you, Jord? We've had this conversation before.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Like I say, I think as long as it's in tune, because that's the one thing about Wolves fans is we can't sing a song in tune. Like, I still don't understand why we never got the Hoolan song going from Sevilla, and then we just go Lopetegui's got me on me. Like it's just like
they did it at Arsenal, didn't they? Like when he come out, we did that at Arsenal. He never
once. Look, drums. I'm for whether the South Bank and the Steve Bull J10 can keep in tune with it. That's another debate after last night. Then we'll see. But I'm not. Get it in. Let's see how it goes. Can't be any worse than clappers anyway.
Nah. What were the clappers in the South Bank last night?
Were there?
There was.
There weren't many. I think they got given out before the game. There were a lot in Steve Bull.
There weren't none in the North Bank.
No. So I saw some of that, but I think I walked past the fan zone and kids had already got them. So I don't know if they were giving them out to people or something. But they were more in the Steve Bull rather than the South Bank. But
moving back to that, moving back to that Leicester game, though, as you've all alluded to there, it was so frustrating that we were on top and we almost gift them a route back into the game. Dave, Jose saw that the monkey and the cymbals were crashing in his head again. As we've seen a few times in these in these moments where he's one-on-one. You know what? He's fantastic when he hasn't got time to think about things, such as point-blank rage save. Like that save last night was incredible, even with the SA volley as well. But when he's got time to think about it, it's game over. Even like back passes, there was one last night where he had like 5 seconds and nearly gave it away.
Yeah.
To do it, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, we had really good momentum as well against Leicester, and I think if you could have gone into half time ahead, or even sort of if that tackle never even happened, we could have easily gone into half time 2-0 up, because we had really decent momentum and it was almost against the run of play. But yeah, that was frustrating because it killed all sorts of momentum. Definite penalty, and just frustrating then, because after that we just never really got back into the game, and even it was almost like we were just fighting for our lives to get to half time at 1-1 rather than then, scoring a second goal, to be honest. So that killed all our momentum. And it was just, I don't know, we saw he had a really poor start to the season, I think. A couple of games at the start of January, he's poor. And then he's sort of just in and out at the moment, isn't he? He has had some really good performances under Lopetegui. But again, that was a frustrating one against Leicester because it was avoidable, really.
George, do you think he could be someone who he's moved on in the summer?
Yeah, I've never really been his biggest fan. But
not anyone's fucking biggest fan.
I am. I've got a few people I'm a fan of. Don't start that.
Not Max Gilman.
Well, he's been all right recently as well. But no, we saw. I just think he's got a rick in him. Like you say, again, it's almost chalk and cheese, because last night he made 2 or 3 world-class saves, like you've already alluded to. But it's just how many penalties he's give away since he's been at Wolves. I reckon he's probably give away double figures in 2 seasons. And if you compare that to the rest of the league, I don't know, I can think of shitloads. And then you think about
alone.
Yeah.
He didn't give away that many.
He's given
away
3 or 4.
Newcastle, Dele Alli one.
Yeah.
Leicester.
That one against Leicester.
There was a few in a row, weren't there, after that Spurs?
Yeah, there was a few.
Did it again,
3 or 4 games in a row, weren't there? Definitely at least 2 or 3 in a row.
Was it Fulham? Did he give that one away and then he saved it, or did someone else give that away? That was the start of the season, wasn't it?
Forest, we considered a penalty against. This was last season, though, with...
last season also we saw.
Yeah.
And then obviously punched the Leeds defender in the
he got away with
the first game of the season.
I can't believe they didn't give
it. So, yeah, anyway, like you sort of alluded to anyway with him, he's just got a rick in him, and I think that you can tell already Lopetegui, he wants a goalkeeper that can play out like the back, which seems to be the modern day way of most managers want to go for it now, and I just don't think he's good enough with his feet, full stop, to be what we want him to be moving forward. I don't think he really sort of starts attacks for us or progresses plays for us, so I think he will be one who possibly is on the chopping block for come the summer.
Maybe. What do you reckon, Finn?
I don't know. It seems like a long time ago that he was clearly player of the season, wasn't he? No doubts about it. Everyone was unanimous. Sarr was absolutely saved us last season. And I remember, I don't know. I think I'd give him another year. I've seen the rumours of, obviously, Lopetegui had Bono, didn't he, that saved the Raul penalty in the quarter-final, and then he had a great World Cup as well. So whether people are just putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 with that one, I don't know whether it'll actually happen. But I think I'd still give him. I still get really, really nervous every time he gets the ball. And obviously, if it's something we want to do more, because I'm wanting Wolves to do it less every time I'm watching the game. And if he's wanting to do it more, then I suppose it only goes one way. But I think for me, he's a superb shot stopper, but you have got to accept, I think, if we go into next season, right, he is going to, as you say, punch someone in the head. And to be fair, I haven't actually seen it back, but did he, in the stadium, I was fuming at him, but was it a bit more of a slip than an actual, like, look?
Really.
I saw people saying slip, but I can't see it. I think the slip is more when he's already landed the studs and then he loses the balance that way.
Yeah. Because he gave it a proper, like, apology to Vardy as if he didn't mean to do part of it. Or so, like, I don't know what it was.
It's a bit of a nasty tackle. Obviously not intentional, but...
He trod on his foot, didn't he?
Okay, he was just an idiot then, never mind.
I think we have adapted the way we play, though. I think Lopetegui's identified that he just can't do it, and we are going longer, and perhaps that's detriment to our build-up play. Having Costa helps because he's an outlet, and we are seeming to get players in and around him when the ball goes forward, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was moved on in the summer. But I think there's more pressing positions. But Jord Neves came on at half time. Moutinho on not long after, and we're not saying that it's Neves and Moutinho's fault. And there's seen a lot of, and you said it, Dave, on the match reaction. I don't know if it's just because it's straight after the game, but people giving Neves stick. I don't necessarily think they were giving Neves stick when we've won 2 games. I just think they were saying we looked a better team without him. But at the second half in Leicester, we certainly didn't look a better team with him in it.
No, I agree. I think, I don't know whether it was just almost a coincidence when as soon as Lemina came off and Neves came on, we looked a lot worse. I think that was an unfortunate coincidence, really, for Neves. But I think the whole Moutinho thing as well, you know, it's worked really well for Moutinho when he's come off the bench when we've got the lead or pushing for the lead in the last 15, 20 minutes of a game and putting even more pressure. We've seen it against Chelsea, we saw it against Spurs. I thought he played really well, but when you're coming on and chasing a game, I don't think he's the answer, especially when you've still got a good 30, 35 minutes to go. And it just made the midfielder look so much, you know, almost pedestrian. Yeah. When you compare it to having Lemina and João Gomez, who have just got energy, and Neves and Moutinho, who turns of pace and energy are a lot slower, and that's when you want to control a game. And we didn't really need to control the game against Leicester. We just had to go at them and try and get something, especially away from home. So, yeah, that was frustrating, really. I think the subs were disappointing from Lopetegui. I saw someone who commented on the review as well. He sort of moaned about Lopetegui, and I says, the thing is with Lopetegui is that before Saturday's game in the form table, since Christmas, we were the 6th best side in the league. But with Lopetegui, it's still hit and miss in regards to his substitutions. Like, for argument's sake, yesterday, I know we'll come on to the game, I thought he managed out that game pretty well. But it's been sort of a 50-50 split. There's some games where he's made the tactical changes early enough and made good subs, and it's won us the game ultimately. But then there's other games where he didn't make the right changes, and ultimately it's cost us points. So I think that's something that'll probably level itself out, and he'll suss it out, and especially next season when he gets his own team together.
Still think the squad's really unbalanced though as well. Like, we've got loads of options now, but like, just I don't dare to say it, and we shouldn't be so ungrateful, but too many options, Jord. I mean, you probably got, like, with Chiquinho coming back as well. You might have, like, by the end of the season, like 5 or 6 wingers to choose from.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar profile of players, and that sort of stems from when Nuno was here a little bit. In terms of if plan A doesn't work, we'll swap the personnel in plan A and try and make it work better. And I feel like you say, we've got a whole host of wingers. We've got 5 or 6 centre midfielders now, probably, if you count Hodge. So we've got a lot of options, but we are unbalanced. No recognised central striker on the bench last night. Screams, it's all stuff we all know as Wolves fans, and I think
there's one in the club though, but
but there's obviously stuff going on there. And Lopetegui, when he came in, he didn't dress it up. He was really pissed off that Raul went to the World Cup, and he's really pissed off he played in that warm-up game when he wasn't meant to. And then, it's always been a bit frayed, that relationship. And I think he just damn respected him from minute one of coming to the club. To go back to what you were saying, though, about Neves and Moutinho, like, I'm sort of, like, seeing online a lot of, like, basically, like, people, especially after last night, going, oh, people are deleting all the tweets now about Neves, about him, like, being the problem against Leicester and all this sort of stuff. And for me, like, 2 things can be correct. And, Neves has been our best player since we've been in the Premier League, hands down. Arguably one of the best to ever wear the shirt. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've been a better team against Chelsea and Brentford. We looked a better side without him in that team. And people are just sort of on this, like, high horse of, oh, look at Neves, who does this and that. Like, Neves is an unbelievably technically gifted footballer, but the one thing he can't do, which we know, is he can't run. Yeah. Well, he's not very athletic, and that's probably why he's not playing for a Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man City. That's probably the only sort of negative against his profile of player. I thought against Leicester, when he came, him coming on the pitch hampered us massively. I thought it completely changed the dynamic of that game. And it's okay to say that without me thinking or anyone writing Neves off as a Wolves player. Like, it's just stupid, some of the stuff I've seen recently.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played well last night. But I look on Twitter and it's like 10 out of 10 performance, and I'm not sure that I don't know what you boys think. We'll come on to it more so, but I didn't think he did well, of course, and he had the bit between his teeth. But like you see, people and football fans are very knee jerk and reactionary, aren't they? It's you win one game and it's we're fine. We're, Europe next season. We lose the next game. It's like I don't see where the next 3 points are coming from. I don't know. But the goal that came, well worked move from Leicester, and in the end, Dave, I think ultimately we got what we deserved, didn't we?
Yeah, they created a lot of decent chances as well throughout the game, especially in the second half. So they would have felt they probably deserved the win overall. Disappointing. We made it was a well worked goal. We probably made it a little bit too easy for Leicester. They shouldn't have had that much space on the wing, and the guy in the box probably should have been tracked a little bit better. But yeah, ultimately they deserved it because second half we were really, really poor. Just didn't offer anything going forward. Which compared to the first sort of 20 minutes or so, where we looked really, really good, we were on the front foot. It was just the complete opposite, which was disappointing.
Moving on to the Betmate pot from the weekend, though. So it was the Prem Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs, £3 in for your chance to win £300. And Royal Atkin came top, winning £90, and he won it by 9 points. So an absolute storming lead. The only member of the Talking Wolves crew came away with any credit was Jord, who came 16th, who won a massive £3.60. Jord, what have you spent it on?
What did I spend it on? I could probably buy maybe 4 or 5 mega drumsticks from this corner shop. I ain't sure. I might invest in them. Who knows? No, joke.
How much is a Freddo these days?
God, no. I will tell you though, mega drumstick, 49p for a drumstick. Well, it's a drumstick, but it's like they're called mega drumsticks. So it's just obviously like the drumstick swing.
Bigger version.
Not a chicken drumstick. A mega drumstick.
I thought you were about for the goal in the South Bank then.
Yeah. No. We've gone up to 40. It used to be when I was at school, 15p. Back in my day, 15p. 49p now. Travesty.
The 60s were a better time though, George, weren't they?
The Beatles were flowing and everyone was flowing power, you know what I mean?
Only had rhubarbs and custard back in his day.
Hard-boiled sweets.
How much is a mega drumstick out of the ration, Brook, George?
Used to be like a 6pence, I think.
Before we came on it, I was complimenting George actually on his youthful looks. He's had a beard trim. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple, and he looks about 10 years younger.
Yeah, I think 52. It's about 52 now. But yeah, it's all about these days now get branded as like an influencer. You got to make sure you look good, don't you? Look good and speak good. So there you go.
Feel good, yeah.
Feel 1 out of 2.
Well, you look 10 out of 10, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Now we can move. That's all right. We can move on to the positive stuff now. Last night at Molineux, under the lights. Before we get on to the game, Dave, what did you think of the pre-match build-up?
It was all right. To be fair, I didn't take Lopetegui's advice. I was in there a little bit late. Probably got in there about 5-10 minutes before, but it was all right. I thought the atmosphere was decent last night. I thought it was much better than what it has been. Flat at times in the first half, but second half was great. But yeah, it was all right. I think there's that's something that Wolves have obviously taken a look at since Christmas a lot closer, and just seems to be getting better and better, to be honest.
It is wonderful inclusion of Fraser though again. What a little legend he is.
I know, I got the prediction right as well, mate. Get him on the pod. Or give me some tips on my hacker.
Lottery numbers for next week, Fraser. One thing before we do come on to that though, like that video obviously warmed a lot of hearts and made a lot of eyes water. But Lamina with him, absolute exemplary. Like he just what a top bloke. Meant to be by some accounts a bit of a bad apple. And he still might be from his days at Southampton and Fulham. But mate, what a bloke! What an absolute bloke! Like he's made that kid's year, and the way he took time out and to try and just be as kind as he could and conversational. I thought it was brilliant. So good to see. I know it's an easy win for the club, but he was sensational, man.
Yeah, you just can't, unless he's a really, really good actor. You can't, like, I don't know. He just seems like a really,
he's a really
nice
good midfielder. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but I can't see where any bad apple. Was it Fulham or Southampton that came from, the sort of bad apple?
Southampton, I think.
Was it?
Yeah,
it might have been just because he wanted the move. I don't know, but yeah, brilliant with that. I mean, I think my mum's probably given it half the views. Honestly, every time I go downstairs, she's got that video on again. It certainly has captured the hearts and the minds, hasn't it? Because we were out for 7:05, because it said 7:05 he'd read the team. I think he didn't do it till about 7:15, so it didn't start to get going until about 15 minutes before. So he didn't miss much, Dave. But no, it was brilliant.
Yeah, he only read a few names out, didn't he? But
but he read them out? Costa got he did about 10 Costas, didn't he? Like,
Diego. Absolute little legend, man. It was class, and it's good to see the club. Yeah, come on, me babbies as well. So just on come on, me babbies. Did you see the question that BT Sport asked Lopetegui last night at the end of his?
He didn't have a clue, did he? Didn't have a
Scooby.
How are you getting on with your black country accent? I bet he thought like.
Yeah, he thought.
Are they setting me up to say something racist here?
You can't do that anymore. You got Akin Fenwar asking you that.
Yeah, he's looking at him. No Spanish. I mean, what a weird question. Like, you'd probably say like your local Wolverhampton accent. Like,
if you said it to Neves, who's been in good English, been here 5 years, will have heard Black Country before. But to Lopetegui,
what a strange question to ask him. And they just kept probing, didn't they? And I was like, oh god, like he hasn't got a clue.
Just stop the conversation.
Just go to the ads, please. But we made a couple of changes. Well, a couple of changes. We made 3 changes: Bueno, Neves, and Hwang in. Lamina from the start, Dave. The rumours were that he'd been pulled for his hamstring at half time against Leicester. Do you think that was true, or miraculous recovery? I know that you said he was in training as well the day before.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can't see why Lopetegui would have subbed him off at half time if he wasn't injured against Leicester. I think that there must have been a reason for that. But I thought the changes were good. I felt a little bit sorry for João Gomes because I don't think he's done a hell of a lot wrong. But
that's a good point. At Leicester, he was fantastic.
Yeah. So Bueno coming in for Totti, I wasn't completely against. I thought Totti again has been pretty solid over the last few games, but Bueno just gives you a little bit more, obviously, going forward. And Hwang as well. I think Lopetegui's obviously just waited for the right moment to get him back into the team. Just got bundles of energy. I don't know how he stayed on for as long as he did yesterday because he pulled up off the ball and all sorts. But yeah, it wasn't his best game in a Wolves shirt. But Lopetegui's obviously got a bit of a soft spot for him just because of the work rate he brings to the team.
Yeah, he's good defensively as well, isn't he? He always gets back. I thought he had a fairly poor game yesterday. And you mentioned there about Totti. I know he's one that really splits opinions with us. Jord and I aren't huge fans. Dave and Finn, I think you're more kind of appreciative of what he's done the last few games. Still gives me kittens. For me, he's like an Ella Kobe character, and he's like pure pace, strength, brute force. Put a ball at his feet. If you put an opposition at his feet, you kick him into Rose Head. But you put a ball in front of his feet, and it's like the time bomb.
Going back to Hwang, I felt it would have been more beneficial, and obviously Lopetegui knows a lot better than I do, but probably playing Nunez on the right and Hwang on the left, rather than playing in the opposite positions they did last night. But with Totti, as soon as he came on, I said to my mate next to me, I said he's getting booked before full time, 100% guaranteed, because Elise is going to skin him. But he might just be one of those players. I'm sure we'll have a conversation. There's some players where, like Adama, you probably want him, if he's on it from sort of the 6th, you bring him on after the 70th minute and he's on it, you got one hell of a player. But with Totti, I think he has to start a game and slowly grow into the match. Because on the ball, he's actually half decent at times, but you are right. It looks
generous. That's generous.
Hey, come off it, mate.
I think he's all right on the ball. I do. You look at some of the skill, and he's how comfortable he is in taking players on. I think you got to watch some of the games. Probably even the Leicester game, I thought he was half decent.
He's driven forward a few times, and he's got that. He's quick and he's strong as an ox. But I don't mean like going past.
I don't think. either?
Oh, it's up for me. I must admit. I don't know what you think, Finn.
He got the assist for the goal against Brentford. First goal.
Yeah.
Straight to Diego Costa.
It's a Diego Costa assist, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the cross went straight to his feet.
Yeah.
It was a good cross. Fair.
I think part of my mind thinks that I like it being some sort of tactical masterclass because it's like, oh, centre half that's playing at left back. So I think that Lopetegui's Guardiola, like he does with his 3 centre halves, but it's not like Semedo's coming in to form a pivot and all that rubbish. But I like to think it, and he was a good lad in my Grasshoppers dressing room on Football Manager. So I've still got a sweet spot. But no, yeah, I can fully appreciate the criticisms. Yeah, but I think he's done a great job for what we've.
For the record, I don't think he's our long-term left back option.
Marcelo,
but I don't think he's awful. I think he's all
no,
right,
not at all.
But,
we've had so many fantastic left backs over the years, like Marcel. And now we've got Totti Gomez. It feels like a bit of a fall from grace, if you ask me.
What a forgettable defender, man, Marcel.
Is that interviewed and he's like fans are stopping me in the street saying, "Please, Marcel, stay."
We're not having any awards, yeah.
That's his wife passing him in the Euro before he goes to training. Please, Marcel, I don't want to sell the house.
So did he only do 1 season? No, he did 2.
He did 2.
Yeah.
One was lockdown though, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I swear he said when he moved to, I can't remember where he ended up in Brazil, but he said like he was trying to make the World Cup squad, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wanted to be saying like, thought he was as good as the left backs that are in the squad already.
Yeah.
Wonderful teeth. Where is he playing? Botafogo, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
jeez.
Gee, what a player. But a perfect start to the game, Jord. It was, I mean, we didn't create many chances at all throughout the game. It was pretty drab, but great delivery from Neves, and fortunate that it's bounced off Anderson, who's, I don't know how he's trying to position his body. I don't know what he's doing. Had a bit of a rough game all night, but great start.
Yeah, well, fantastic start, and finally the cliche of you score too early didn't come and bite us on the arse. But no, like Anderson's positioning was a little bit wrong. It's a wicked ball in, and just the way Anderson was when the cross come to him, it's just sort of, yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate, isn't it? And usually, like I say, I think he's a very good centre half, Premier League centre half. He's impressed me a few times when I watched him live, and last night he was off it completely. And like I say, it was a great start. And unfortunately, the ball did cross the line because it come back out to the man Craig Dawson, and that would have been some fancy football points for me. Because then he actually did bundle it over the line himself. So, but yeah, like I say, 1-0.
It was actually he came off the bar, went in, and come back out, and then Anderson knocked it back over as well, didn't he?
So Dawson stabbed it forward, and I think it's come off Anderson's ankle and put it in the back of the net again.
Got himself abrasive in 2 minutes. So that Alan Partridge is like goal and another. Oh man, yeah, but it was a great start. But I thought even after that we kept our foot on the gas and got into some good positions. But I mean, the Costa chance was a half chance really, pulling out the sky, but. Some good positions, but all sizzle no sausage really, wasn't it?
Massively, yeah, and we gave up a few chances as well. I think I went in at half time thinking, because as Dave said, the atmosphere was a little bit flat in that first half, and we were trying to sort of figure out why. And I think it was because if we'd have gone in at 0-0, if he hadn't have done that, I think people would have been really moaning about, because there was a few moments, but there was nothing really of note, was there? And to be fair, I think you're looking back on it, Palace, that's their first defeat under Hodgson and all stuff like that, but. Yeah, I'm sort of, we're floating in that area, aren't we? Where, as you say, it's like a reactionary on a win. If we'd have done this podcast a few days ago, you said, "Where's our next points coming from?" So I think we do need to look at it objectively as a great win and just win by any means. But I do think at half time people would have been giving it the sort of, when was the recent performance where we were terrible? Forest, maybe? Leeds, yeah, maybe Forest. One of those. Maybe because we hadn't conceded, but. Yeah, basically, I think without that goal, I think it would have looked very different at half time. It was quite frustrating for me.
Massive save from Jose Sarr as well in the
of course, yeah.
in the first half, keeping us in it. As we've previously said on this podcast, you're going to get that with him. Split second decision making, fantastic. What a wonderful save that is, and you can probably thank him for the Eze one in the second half. But Dave, I thought second half they managed the game out well. You said on the post match reaction, the blueprint was there. Watching the Everton game, low block, sure to break them down. And I listened to a Palace podcast on Monday, and they said, I don't know who this bloke was I had for the previous 3 games, but the game against Everton was definitely Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, they said it was by far the worst, but Everton went with a game plan. Obviously, Sean Dyche, because if Palace have got some really good, quick attacking players, so especially away from home, they're going to play counter-attacking football. And in the position that we're in, you can't go and put you back, especially 1-0 up. There's no point in putting you back 4 on the halfway line and trying to play, high, expansive attacking football. So yeah, I'd rather watch us grind out 1-0 wins and try. And I think Lopetegui's probably learned from the Leeds game where as my dogs start barking, as we were like extremely open. Where we were extremely open and bottled it and, lost 4-2, and to sit deep, frustrate Palace and get the win. And I'll shut up now.
That sound very happy, mate. They
flashback to the Leeds game. So as soon as I said Leeds, they're going.
Jordan managed the game out pretty well, didn't we? I know they came on to us a lot more in the second half, but just you got the blokes like Dawson and Kilman and Lamina was absolutely throwing themselves in front of everything.
Yeah, and that's, again, something that I feel like we've missed, well, from losing Cody Sace and Bolly. That's sort of a big thing of that first half of the season was we felt like we lost that bit of leadership, and I just think Craig Dawson, for the money, he could argue he's pound for pound like the best signing we've had ever. Like the way he started, honestly, I can't think of many better. He come in at the right time when we needed someone of that sort of ilk, and he's like a magnet. Honestly, like I swear he'd head a fucking asteroid that was coming to like the Molineux. He just fucking smash it off his head and get rid of it. Like he's unbelievable, and like I say, everyone putting the body on the line, and sometimes you got to win ugly. And last night was the epitome of that. And like I said, I think if we'd have played that game in October, we'd have lost 3-4-1.
Yeah, but did I say if you'd have chucked him in an house brick, he'd have headed it back? Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll move on to the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. I'd left on 90 because I was in the North Bank, and of course, you can't watch stoppage time. They don't let you. And I come out of the ground and I heard like a cheer, and I thought, and I thought, doesn't sound like a goal. But thankfully, in the Billy Wright, in one of the rooms upstairs, there's a telly on the back wall, and there was me and about 100 Wolves fans like crowded on the road, like watching his telly, like standing up. And Finn, how on earth is that not a red card?
See, I think I'm happy with how the scenario played out, because for that to be a red card, I think he has to make contact higher, which would have hurt Neto a lot more. I'm quite happy with the 2-0, a fit Neto, and a yellow there for me. But I can see. Right, I've loaded Jord up. Go on, Jord. I can see what he's about to say for the record, but I am quite happy with how it went.
Carry on, please carry on.
No, I am like, as in, it could have been much worse if Neto didn't move how he did, and your leg up that high. The thing is, it hits his ankle, doesn't it? Basically, not the sort of leg breaker territory. So my summary is, let's just take it and move on. But I am willing to concede it probably should have been a red card. But also, I think Neto, for them to have been forced into a red card on VAR or anything, I think it would have had to have hurt him a lot more. But it's an impressive amount of rolls as well, for the record.
Yeah, it's like a shooting stars, it wasn't it? Yeah. Jord?
So for me, I've been on the fence a little bit more with these the last couple of weeks, where it's been like, definite penalties and stuff. Like for me, that is a stonewall red card if ever you've seen one. Like the only thing that can possibly save Sam Johnson is the double jeopardy rule, which I get. You know, you can't. And
but it's a bad tackle, it's still already.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like playing football, like those are the ones that hurt the most, because like he's actually come over. Like I don't think Johnson's gone to do him. He's got the top of the ball, skimmed the top of the ball, and he's got Neto in between probably where his shin pad is and the top of his boot, and like. They are the leg breakers. Like for me, I just thought he was out of control. He was desperate. It was a lunge.
He had 2 legs like 4 at once.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, like okay, put it like this: if Casemiro did that, Or Xhaka does that in the Man City game in I know we recorded in 30 minutes time. He's getting sent off. There's no two ways about it. 100%.
Yeah,
they had no control of the ball.
When they showed the replay to us outside, some bloke went, sent him off. And for that, I went, sent him off. I said, they've just fucking come on and cuffed him up. It was that bad. And to give him a yellow card, Dave, do you think it's just a case of it's the last kick of the game, the rest thinks, do I really need to send him off here?
Can't be asking for paperwork, can he?
Yeah. The same with the added time as well. I think every rule went out the window in that added time.
I was, to be fair, from my angle, it just looked like he got the ball and no part of Neto. And I thought, fuck yeah, how does he give a pen for that? And then as soon as I got out of the ground, I thought, before I do a reaction here, I've got to watch it back because I'm going to sound like an idiot. And yeah, it's definitely a foul. I don't know. I can sort of see why.
I'm surprised.
I don't know. I think if it was in the 60th minute and we were still only 1-0 up, I'd be saying, yeah, definite red. But because the game was pretty much done, it doesn't bother me that much. But I think
it's still a red for me. Like the man first or 90 minute, like
I don't know. I ain't bothered. I think, to be fair, but George, right, Casemiro got one for the exact same as that earlier this season.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's been a lot of conversations, especially the last 2 or 3 weeks, about improvements under Lopetegui, both pre-Lopetegui, which was Steve Davis and Bruno Lage, and since Lopetegui's come in. And I broke down some of the stats earlier using FB Ref as a source. Dave will flash a graphic on screen probably about now. It doesn't include any cup games, but 15 games to Lopetegui's 18. Goals for slightly better. A lot better. Yeah, a lot better.
Over double slightly.
Yeah. Goals against better. XG. This is a thing I was a bit like, oh, okay. Only slightly better. I mean, I don't know if it feels like that, but I still don't think we're creating massive amounts of chances, but we feel a lot more defensively solid. So I thought, okay, perhaps our expected goals against would be lower, but it's higher. So can anyone make sense of this? Because
I think potentially the expected goals against Lopetegui's had the game against City, well, they absolutely smashed us. Haaland scored a penalty, didn't he? Oh, talk about SAR mistakes. That was one, wasn't it, as well? Yeah. So, like, the XG there just shoots up. Games against the Leeds, where we were just so open, that probably shoots up. So, I think it's just that he's been solid, especially the home game's been pretty solid. But then there's a couple of games, like anomalies, that probably shoot that up, to be fair. But we were awful this season defensively. I thought we were awful before Lopetegui came in. So...
Yeah, we were. Yeah, like average goals against per game has drastically decreased, which is good. But obviously, there seems to be more clear-cut chances against us. But we saw this under Lage, didn't we? Where we were like constantly overperforming our goals conceded through Jose Sarr, but it doesn't feel like it could be. I don't know. We've all kind of criticised him, but perhaps he could be bailing us out again.
He's making a couple of decent saves. I think there's been chances though where teams have missed half decent chances against us as well. But I don't know if the blocks count in that matter as well. Like the good tackles, like unexpected goals against or not. Like say if someone took a shot and someone blocked it, or
it's like it goes on attempts at goal, so it would do whether it's got to Sarr or not. So it's like attempts at goal.
So maybe there's I can't pick any off the top of my head, so unless there's been some half decent last ditch tackles as well. I'm not sure.
And I'd imagine average expected goals, the Núñez goal was probably brought a lot because that was
even Cunha's will be pretty low as well. Cunha's is probably only sort of 0.23 something like that.
Yeah.
I've always
gone Finn.
I was going to say that, like, I've always sort of followed it pretty closely, like the accounts of all seeing the XG after every game. But I saw earlier today that Kane's expected assists is 3 point something, and he's got 14. So there are massive, there's some in some of these places there are discrepancies. But I mean, it is interesting to look at on a general thing. Have we got slightly lucky? But it does feel, as you say, on the eye test, as people call it now, it does feel like we were much more defensively solid.
Yeah, I think to make more sense of it is I recommend the XG Philosophy book as well. If anyone wants to actually look into it and read it, it's really, really insightful about it. Because like I say, like it can be misleading at times, but yeah, like that does explain it. And there are always anomalies in any sort of any test you do. But
I think it shouldn't be used as gospel, but it's more of a barometer of how well a side has played in terms of just creating clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
But for example, one thing that it doesn't factor in is who's taking it, what foot it's on. Like it could fall to Craig Dawson, and it's on his left foot, or it could be certain goal. So that's 0.99. Or it could fall to Ruben Neves on his right. It doesn't take into account that. But I think the main thing to take away from that is the average goals we've scored has increased, and the average goals against us has decreased. So moving in the right direction. Hopefully, in the summer when he gets his pause on, hopefully some of his own players, and we can start to see a bit more of that Lopetegui ball that's led us to near safety. Now, let's have a look at the Betmate pot from Tuesday. So it was the Prem Tuesday treble. It was £400 for your chance to £5 into your chance to win a share of £400, and he's only gone and done it again. Jord finished in 6th place. £17, mate. You've done all right this week, but to be fair, you have done very well this week. Haven't you? It's not just on the wall spots. You've done very well.
No, I did very, very well. So there's a couple of pots on the weekend as well, which went nicely. And the Newcastle game, the Newcastle West Ham double game. Joe Willock captain, Isaac, Joe Linton, pay me up. Bowen, Cresswell got an assist. Yeah, so I think I've won about £250 roughly this weekend off Betmate.
Nice.
So thank you to the Betmate boys, and it's already in my bank account.
Now, how many mega drumsticks are you going to buy with that, mate?
I need a calculator because I ain't that good. What, £17?
No,
34.
the £250 you've won this week.
Well,
what are you going to
I did say.
Tell the missus out.
I might go to have a nice little facial. I might go to the spa.
I beg your pardon.
No.
How much are the drumsticks, George?
49p. So
you would £250 divided by your 49p. That is
roughly 500.
510.2.
I won't have any teeth left after
that. Do you have facials often, Jordan?
Jesus. I beg your pardon. No, just every now and again, you've got to treat yourself, haven't you? Now I've got to like the wise old age of 31. The skin's not as good.
I've never
wrinkles,
they're very good. Wrinkles, very, very good. You don't need a facial. You need some fucking polyfiller.
Filler. Yeah. So with that, then I'll go to home base on the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never had a facial. What do they do?
Well, they're just I don't know. They put some oils and like cream on, and you get the old
like an MO2
on, don't you? Very much so, yeah. And I creak, unfortunately, so I do need the full sort of head massage. Everything.
Oh, nice.
I'm not in a good way anymore, mate. So yeah, if I can treat myself every now and again, I will.
You were, well, with that too, you can treat yourself and the missus, I'd imagine, to a little treatment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brighton versus Wolves at the weekend. Does anybody really care? That's the question. Dave, tough game, real tough game.
Yeah, obviously we're recording this before they play Forest, which you would hope and assume they will win. But there might be some sort of, hopefully some sort of hangover after the FA Cup game. Played 120 minutes, playing again tonight. So hopefully there might be some sort of rotation or some sort of tiredness in that squad on Saturday. But I'm not holding my breath. I think it's going to be a tough game. But like I think our job's pretty much done now. But if we can put in some respectable performances between now and the end of the season, I think really the two home games are the games that we want to focus on now. We know how good we've been at home. We tend to do okay against Villa at home. And then Everton's obviously probably the most winnable game now between now and the end of the season. So any other points away from home is a bonus for me.
Yeah, just looking at the team they put out tonight, and they've gone pretty strong, to be honest. McAllister, Marsh, Matoma, and Caicedo. So looks like they've gone pretty strong. Hopefully they might rest some players on Saturday. But Jord, fantastic team, fantastic manager as well.
Yeah, I've said about De Zerbi before. Yeah, I think
you're always right, man.
Yeah, no, I think they're a club that do everything right. To be honest with you, and there'll be fire sales in the summer. I'm sure they'll have big bids for McAllister, Matoma, and Caicedo again, and no doubt about it, they've got a conveyor belt of players already because they do follow the XG model, and they'll just have these next players lined up anyway. So yeah, they're a great team, great outfit, and I think for us to go there and get a positive result on the weekend is, I think is achievable, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to ride our luck at times as well because they are a super football team at the minute.
Finn, would you go unchanged? Would you bring Jimenez back into the fold? Think of the views.
Of course I would, but no, I probably would go unchanged to answer the question. However, has Gomez done anything wrong whatsoever to not get a start? It's going to be that same debate again. In that midfield, we've gone from having literally those three options for 3 years to being spoiled for choice now. So I'd probably lean towards it. I'd certainly keep someone up there with Cunha. So if it's not my king, then it will have to be Costa. Because that's working a lot better. We're seeing the 40 million value now. So yeah, probably something like that. I think Brighton are just a team to be admired in every sense, really. I think that there's even a kid they've got on loan at the same team that Mitoma and Undaver last year. He's on 13 goals, 13 assists or something. So they've got that conveyor belt going. They know what they're doing. So yeah, just I don't mind if we're going to lose to anyone. Don't mind losing to them. I think they gave us a bit of a run around, didn't they? Earlier on in the season, that was when I called the Mitoma gem early because I'd watched one match of the day, and then I think he got his first goal against us with that header. So yeah, I mean, if we lose to them, it's not a massive crisis, is it? I forgot to tell you, I won't be on the podcast next week because I'm going on holiday, so I'm not even going to be there to see it. So my mum and dad are making a nice weekend of it, staying in Brighton for the weekend. So even if we don't come away with anything, at least having a nice little trip.
Where are you going on holiday?
Rhodes, I'm going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a gamble with the weather. It might actually just be like the same weather as here. We'll see. It might not be hot enough yet, but we'll give it a go.
Meant to be very windy as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Rhodes.
Oh.
Well, never been.
Didn't know
Dave?
that one about it.
No. It's a bit of a shitstorm, I didn't want to tell you.
I think I went to Cape Verde and didn't know that. It was freezing, mate. I didn't take my top off for a week in Cape Verde. I was getting blown away.
I didn't take my top off in a week for Vegas. That's because I'm overweight. It looked great at them pool parties.
Jordan's not going to take his top off when he gets any facials either.
I'll wipe it off with my t-shirt, mate.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Paul.
Paulie. I know Paul, yeah.
Paulie, sorry. Dave, Diego Costa from the start. Do you think he's got the legs to do it?
He's got the legs. I think he seems to be getting an extra 5 minutes every game, doesn't he? Even yesterday, I thought with him being quite isolated towards the end of the game, I thought he did quite a good job, to be honest. And I think, and you saw his frustration when he came off against Leicester as well. So I think he's got enough in the tank. I'm still not 100% sure whether we should be giving him a new contract, and I've got other reasons.
Of course we are. We have to.
For that.
We've got to do it.
My issue is, and because we're on the topic, my issue is next season he cannot be our first choice striker. He cannot. But then at the same time, I do not have faith in him coming off the bench as an impact sub. I just can't see it happening. He doesn't have, I don't know, the right, not quality. I think that's disrespectful to him, but he doesn't have the right profile for me that you would want in a striker coming off the bench. So
I understand that, but I don't think you can put a price on what he offers behind the scene. I think that's very, very clear.
And I think he'll just end up turning a bit like Martinho, where people are saying he's past it. Why did we even give him a new contract? Guaranteed by December, if he's not playing, that's what people will say.
I know, but
he's still got 3.5 years left by that point if me and Matt get away.
But you're forgetting the 3-year option in Costa's favour. But Yeah, you got fans saying, give him a coaching role. Give him a coaching role. Moutinho since he got here. But we've obviously done interviews with Ruddy and Sace, and they've all said you underestimate losing so many big characters. They've obviously got one in. Yeah, they've got one in Costa. I feel like if you manage his expectations, look, we're going to bring a couple of strikers in. You're going to be second, third choice, bit part player, but we want to keep you around. I know he wanted to move back to Europe. I think it suits all parties.
I think as long as he understands that. Yeah, my concern would be is if you're chasing a game. I don't think he's the player to bring on when you're chasing a game. Maybe to see out a game, maybe you're 1 or 2 goals up and you want to hold up the ball a little bit better than yes. But I think one more year, then that would be it. I can't see him being here beyond the end of next season. But personally, at the moment, I probably wouldn't give him a new deal.
I'd quite like to see it. It'd be a laugh. Betmate then, lads. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the team. So it's the Prem Saturday, 3 p.m. double. It's £3 in for your chance to win a share of £200. I'm going to start with you, Jord, first, if that's okay, because you're the man of the moment. Your flavour of the week. Tell us why you've got this team and why it's gonna make you £500 this week.
Well, I literally forgot what the team was, so I've just got it up on my phone. So I've gone with a very heavy Brentford collective, just because they're playing Forest at home, and Forest are gash. So we've gone with David Raya in goal. Again, I really like Ethan Pinnock. There you go. He's in again. Rico Henry.
Did you know that Ethan Pinnock's like 29?
We had this conversation a few weeks ago.
Weekly Pinnock shout.
Every single podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to try and shoe on Ethan Pinnock in every podcast till the end of the season. Pinnock, Rico Henry. Then I've gone with Casado, and I've got João Gomez as vice captain at the moment, but you can change your team up to 5 minutes before, so we'll wait and see if he's in or not. Then I've gone with Ivan Toney captain and Mateus Cunha as my second striker.
Wonderful. David, who you gone for, mate?
I've added a bit more Wolves in there. I've actually gone with Sarr in goal because his amount of saves that he's getting, even in games that we've dropped points in, has been very impressive. I've gone with Ethan Pinnock at the back.
I hope we sign him in the summer so we can continue this.
Got some big Craig Dawson next to him as well. I've gone with a Brighton midfield too, to be fair. I've gone with Mitoma and Saicedo as my captain. Toney up front as my vice captain, especially against Forest. I think he's always got a goal in him. And I've gone with Cunha up top as well. Not a lot of the other forward options fill me with much confidence. So let's wait and see.
Finn Morris, talk us through your team.
Yeah, I'm a blend of the two. I've gone Sarr in goal, but not for a hope of a clean sheet, just for the save points, and that is my only Wolves representation. Because I've then got Rico Henry, the Perv, Estupinan, and then March and Mitoma in midfield. And then I've gone Toney captain. I've vice Mitoma. I've gone Toney captain, and I've put Sharda in as well as another football manager. Well, he's one of my enemies, not my favourites actually in the Swiss league, but I was hoping to do damage to Forest. And then for a laugh, I've done a whole Wolves bench of Hwang Ki-chan, Morgan Gibbs-White, Nelson Semedo, and Wayne Hennessy to fill it out with a bit of a Wolves.
Why is Estupinan a pest?
No, his first name's Purvis, so it always tickles me.
Okay.
All the Brighton fans call him the Purvis. It is slightly libelous, I suppose, without that context, but.
Yeah, these aren't the views of Talking Wolves. We can't afford this, mate. So I've gone with David Raya in goal. Fantastic keeper, I think. No Ethan Pinnock in the back, unfortunately, lads. But this may change subject to, well, I might just put him in even if he's not playing. Big fan of talking Ethan Pinnock. Gone with Lewis Dunk and Rico Henry at the back. Gone for vice captain Saicedo, Solly Marsh, who scores a lot of points on Betmate, all action. Just don't put him on penalties. And then up top, I've got Ivan Toney and Buemo. Not a Wolves player in sight for these starting 7. So I think that kind of tells you what I'm thinking for Saturday. But it's got to the point where who's really asked, we're pretty much safe. I love how no one's like, I was watching Liam Keane's videos last night and a few of us, no one's saying yeah, we're definitely safe, apart from Dazzling Dave, of course. He's the only one saying that everyone's safe, but who knows? I think if you get a point at the weekend, then it's pipe and slippers. Yeah, we're sound now. You got to, the other teams below have got to win 3 games out of the next 6
without us picking up a point. Yeah,
yeah, it's not going to happen, is it?
What do you think's more likely? Wolves not picking up a point from now at the end of the season, or Everton winning 3 out of the next 7?
What's more likely, did you say?
Yeah.
Probably us not picking up a point, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see Everton winning 3 games out of the 7 they've got left.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be absolutely fine. Right, then, lads, let's move on to the questions. I'm going to start with a question from myself first. I want to get the consensus of the panel around Raul Jimenez's misses' tweets this week. Yesterday, the tweet was, I can't find the tweet actually. It's if anyone can remind Daniela, yeah, isn't it Daniela?
Do you want to read it out? Or you got
please, mate, if you could.
She says, well, she put it in Mexican first, or Spanish, or whatever the language you speak.
Spanish,
yeah. And then she translated it. Loyalty? ? Being loyal is breaking your head and still being here at the foot of the canyon. Just saying. Which has had 503 replies and many more quote tweets.
Never a good sign, is it?
No.
I think it's safe to say that it's about Raul. I think break your head. Break your head. What does she mean by foot of the canyon? As in being like bottom of the
table. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm doing my English literature GCSE
translate from Mexican.
The curtains are blue. What does she mean by this? What are your thoughts, lads? For me, it's not a great look. Tweets like this, it only takes a few, and you can tarnish a reputation and how you're seen. But
it's not good. But she put something out last week, didn't she? Similar sort of thing. She didn't get as much traction.
You okay?
I put a tweet out. Lopetegui's had Jimenez's card marked from day one. Like Jord said earlier, he obviously wasn't happy with the way that he treated the club in regards to the whole pre-World Cup thing. And fair enough. And I think he'll be gone in the summer. When we're having discussions about Costa after 60, 70 minutes, so you need another centre forward to bring on the pitch. Ideally, you'd want Jimenez on there. The fact that he's not on the bench, he's obviously speaks volumes. But I saw Johnny Phillips did a good article on the Express and Star over the weekend. Yeah, and he said, obviously, with the amount of people that are in the squad, and he goes, everyone that's in the squad is working really hard and wanting to fight for their place. Whereas players like Nori and Jimenez, they've not necessarily got bad attitudes, but their work ethic in regards to putting 110% isn't quite as much as the other players that are in the squad at the moment. But I think, his time's up. But as fans, we've just got to make sure we remember how good he was for the time that he was playing pre-injury, because especially in my lifetime, because I was unfortunate not to see Steve Ball, by far the best ever striker I've seen in a Wolves shirt. So that's what we've just got to remember. But it's same with Connor Cody, good player for us, and sort of the stuff afterwards, especially with his family, sort of tarnished his time at Wolves a little bit, really.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's one of the best strikers we have seen at the club in my time, probably just slightly behind Adam Proudlock. Finn won't remember Adam Proudlock, will you?
I think I went to school with an Adam Proudlock.
I don't think it
Not
the same one.
Absolutely not, no.
Do you remember Adam Proudlock, Jord?
Of course I did, yeah.
He played in the playoff final, did he?
Yeah, he was the playoff final off the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah.
71 appearances, 13 goals for Wolves.
Yeah. He played in a charity game, maybe I saw a photo of him last year or the year before, and he's packing a bit of timber, to put it politely.
Packing a bit of package.
Yeah.
Man, I've just seen some pictures of it. Yeah, he was never the slimmest, was he, at Wolves? But
nah, but he's doing well for himself, yeah.
I always thought he looked a little bit like Lee Trundle. Remember Lee Trundle?
Shout out, to be fair, Lee Trundle. Yeah.
What a footballer he was. But Jord, what's your thoughts on the on the tweets?
So I think I'm going to be as polite as possible on it because I just feel like there's a way to speak about people, especially women. But I think quite simply, just shut up is what I'd say to her. Like, because it's not helping anyone, is it? Like, it's just like again, just puts a lot of controversy around it all. Like, it's tarnishing the relationship that he still has with Wolves fans. Again, like I echo exactly what Dave said. Like, what he was for us, unbelievable footballer, unbelievable striker. But this stuff that's going on now, it can sort of ruin a bit of a legacy and tarnish it. Like you almost mentioned there, Connor Cody, his family, what's gone on, those little indirect stuff, like the Stephen Fletcher, the Hennessy's, all this sort of crap. And it's just like, it's just not needed. Like, if the relationship's coming to an end, just let it come to an end. Because by Daniela, should I say, putting that tweet out, do you think that's going to go down well with Lopetegui? He's going to go, shit, I'll put him in the squad next week.
I said this,
especially on the eve of the game as well.
It's not helping anyone.
No, it was in the morning, wasn't it?
On the morning of the game.
So you knew he wasn't in the squad at that point, didn't we? Realistically. So just don't help anyone to just shut up. If you got and that's just me being polite about it. Just stop tweeting about it and just forget about it.
I think you expect your missus to stand up for you and support her husband, like you do, don't you? Like, even when, and I'm sure we've all had this, even when you've been a bit of a twat, your missus will be like sick up for you, and then behind closed doors, she's like, "You've been a prick, you have." They do. Like, you'd expect that, wouldn't you? But it just helps absolutely no one, and I think a lot of people have gone back and have been fairly measured. There's, you could suggest that he chucked the towel in when Kalidasic was brought in and he started and went out in the warm-up, and we were told fatigued and we were told groin injury, and he ends up playing for Mexico. Like Dave, you said his card was marked when he came in. Lopetegui made that very clear, but it's got it looks like it could be turning a little bit sour. I hope it doesn't, because like we've all said, his reputation with Wolves fans is still very well supported. They still sing his name. He's still very well thought of. But if I could just ask you all, yes or no, do you think we'll ever see Raul Jimenez in a Wolves shirt again, Dave?
Probably not. He might get like 1 or 2 minutes against Everton if we're winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him again.
Finn?
I'm going to say a hopeful yes, but I think it would be something like Dave says. It would be something like that. I think. Will they get told on the morning of the game? Sorry, I know you wanted simple. Will they get told on the morning of the game if they're in the squad or not? Or
sometimes the night before.
It's like a team meeting, isn't it?
Because if you're piecing it together, as he said, you're not in the squad, and then some loyalties come up, and then he's gone, oh, he said this, and then she's tweeted out while he's at I think it's unfortunate how it's gone. There are how many videos are there of Jimenez goals that can bring you close to tears, like that Southampton one, the first goal back after everything, the several, what was it, 40 contributions in that one season, the amount of special goals. So yeah, it's sad how it's gone. But yeah, let's hope a little cameo somewhere at least, just for my closure.
Jord?
Only if it's for sentimental reasons. I don't think you'll see him starting a game for Wolves again, but he might come on, like you say, against Everton, last game at home. One last see, senor, and off he goes to Club America or the MLS.
He doesn't want to go to. He'll want to stay in England. He will want to stay in England. That's the problem. But
how stay in England?
Who would take him out in the Prem?
Yeah,
I know that's I don't know.
Unless it's a team coming up.
Obviously, Finn, you know, problem, yeah, you know, because you pally with.
He wanted to stay in Europe. That's what the Club America president said, at least. So he could go back to Spain, I suppose.
He wants to stay at Wolves, though, doesn't he, Finn?
I don't know specifically. I haven't sort of gone, is he staying or not? But yeah, I don't think going back to. I think the standard of living in I mean, it's not as if he lived in a favela in Mexico. Do you know what I mean? But that was one of the things that. I think the European, the English, or at the very least the European lifestyle would be nicer. But if you wanted to stay locally, ain't going to go to Villa. You're not a level of Birmingham, you know what I mean? So it's tricky to try and make all the wishes come true.
Just Celtic or Rangers.
Sour.
Fuck him off up north.
They'd be better in the favela in Mexico. That's a joke for any Scottish listeners.
No. Do you think he could end up somewhere like Benfica or Sporting or Porto just for like a couple of seasons?
Yeah, Benfica. Yeah.
Swap deal for what's
Ramos.
his name?
Evan Nilsson.
Gonzalo Ramos.
No,
I think it was it Girona in Spain? There were rumours about him going there last summer. You remember?
They just banged Real Madrid, didn't they?
Yeah,
4-2.
And Mallorca as well. Rumours.
Oh, was it? Sorry, Mallorca. Yeah,
Mallorca would be nicer than Celtic, I reckon.
Yeah.
Little two-bed apartment in Palma. Fantastic. Nigel Ross has asked, do you guys think Boubacar Traoré is deliberately being left out of the matchday squad so they don't have to trigger his loan to a permanent deal? It's already permanent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's already been announced. Yeah.
Was it after the Leeds game when he scored? And
it was just after I mean, right at the end of the window, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like Boubacar. Hope he gets a few more minutes before the end of the season. Nick has asked how much of Kilman's impressive form is down to the experience of Dawson alongside him. Jord, I'll let you come to this first. I know you've criticised Kilman now and again, but he has been better, hasn't he?
It's been loads better the last few weeks, and I think I was right to criticise Kilman as well at the time, but his performances recently have been really, really good, and he's definitely better with a talker next to him, and I thought he was better when Cody was dragging him around the pitch. And he's definitely better that Dawson's barking orders at him as well. I still don't think he's a leader, but that's okay. I think that'll be looked at in the summer. I can't imagine he's going to be our vice captain, or even if Neves gets sold, Kilman can't be our captain moving forward for me. But he has been much improved. Yeah, I'd say someone like that. But he's been much, much improved recently. And yeah, like I can't fault him, and I hope it continues because if you can keep my mouth shut, then great.
Yeah, I mean it's best for all of us. So keep going, Max. Dave, do you think it's do you think it's to do with as much to do with Dawson being alongside him?
Yeah, no, massively. I think that's a huge reason for it. I do feel a little bit sorry for Nathan Collins because obviously he's a talented footballer, but I think he just looked a lot better, a lot more solid, a lot more comfortable with Dawson there. And I think every corner, even yesterday against Palace, he came close once or twice. So. Yeah, I think that experience is pivotal.
Finn, agree?
Yeah, I think it is similar. It's unfortunate that Collins is right-footed almost, isn't it? That because I think Collins would have also had that same improvement if he was alongside Dawson. So I think you almost had two very similar centre-halves in Kilman and Collins, and then you brought in that leader, the organiser. I think both of them would improve alongside him. So Kilman should be fortunate for his rare left-footed ability, I think. But yeah, he improved massively, and I think anyone next to Dawson would have. But especially for a young centre-back like him, been massive. Well, I say young, he's what, 26 now?
Yeah, everyone thinks he's a youngster, don't they?
Yeah.
Leads on nicely to the next question from Lendog. With all the links to centre-backs, what do you think happens with Collins next season? Do you think he'll stick around?
I don't know. It's difficult one. I think he needs game time, but he's only 21 still. He's still very, very young. Yeah. I think Wolves, although obviously we've paid quite a bit of money for him, I think he's still very much a long-term investment. And I think he'll get a lot more game time. He came on for a little bit, but I think get a good pre-season under his belt under Lopetegui, and who knows? I think he just almost needs to prove, a good pre-season. He could prove to Lopetegui he can play on the left of a back too. I'm not sure about a loan move. I think it's going to have to be a really top. It's going to have to be a lower level Premier League side.
Yeah, it can't be a Championship.
No, yeah. So
back to Burnley. I don't know. No,
I don't know if they take him. That's the thing, isn't it? But I don't know.
Yeah, I like him, but I can't believe he's still only 21. Well, he's 22 in 4 days. So happy birthday, Nathan, for then if you're listening. But yeah, who's our player of the season so far? Ben has asked. Neves. Got to be, hasn't he? He's the only one who's performed consistently well.
I do think there's an argument.
Go on, George.
No, I was going to say I do think there's an argument though that one of the January signings could get it. Yeah, because there's been a massive upturn in performances, and you do forget we were horrible before the World Cup. We stunk. We were really bad. And Neves was just the one shining light in a very, very shite team. So I think there's an argument that someone like Lamina or Dawson could win it. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the top three, because they still do that, don't they? They announce like first, second, third. Yeah. I think your top three will be Neves, Dawson, Lamina, in some order. Probably Neves wins it.
Yeah. I think he will too. Go on, Finn. You're on.
Sorry, it's like I was just thinking, because you're going through the team and like your top scorers, you've got Podence and Neves, haven't you, really? And there's no one else really up there. Podence probably isn't going to get a shout. You've got maybe your constant 6 or 7 out of 10s as Semedo, and like you those are your shouts. Your January signings, but yeah, probably will be Neves. Sorry to go around the houses with that one.
Bueno as well, maybe.
But yeah,
nah, not for me. Not for me.
He'd be good.
Yeah, he has. Juicy Fruity has asked, now that safety is almost guaranteed, how do we feel the summer transfers will go? Do you think the board will back Lopetegui this summer? And do you think he'll be back to the same way that Large was?
I think so. I think he's proved, especially with Garagaza coming in, the caliber of player, the quality of player, the profile of player that we signed in January. I don't think there's been one player, maybe bar Bentley, obviously, who hasn't even come onto the pitch. They've all been quality signings and they've all improved the team. So I think they'll completely back him, and I think there'll be funds there for them to use as well. We'll do a lot more content on it when the season's over, but off the top of my head, obviously you're going to free wages up on the likes of Jimenez and Matinho, probably. Neves will probably go. Podence could potentially go. So straight away, you'll have a little pot of money there. So I think that they will back him. They've got to back him. And if he can get his own squad together, I think, next season will be a lot more exciting.
Wonderful. Howling Wolf has asked, it's a bit of a strange question. Vinegar, mayonnaise, or gravy on chips? Now, I don't feel like they're in the same kind of category, but I'm going to ask you instead, what would you have on your chips as a sauce, or on the side? What do you think is like the perfect accompaniment?
Are we talking chip shop chips here? That feels like Chupa Chip question.
Yeah, Chupa Chip.
Yeah, but you don't have mayo on Chupa Chip, surely?
Nah.
I do with a kebab. Mayo.
Yeah, on kebab, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Kebab.
I probably would go gravy, I think. But
Northern boys love gravy.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of vinegar from the chip shop because they just tend to like drown your chips in it.
Oh, I
love salt vinegar.
Yeah, I'm
salt only. I'm a salt
only and add a bit of vinegar at home.
Get a bit of Marston's out. Curry sauce, anyone a fan?
Yeah, curry sauce. If I was having fish and chips, because at the one by work they'll give you one choice of a side, like a topping. I normally go mushy peas, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, I love mushy peas.
But if it's not that's not an option. I do enjoy the old curry sauce.
Tell you what's nice: chips, cheese, and gravy. I used to have that when I lived up north.
Never been partial to cheesy chips, to be fair. Never like.
But it all melts and congeals, and it sounds horrendous, but for a few points, it does the trick.
I love that the American listeners that listen to this are like, "What the hell are they like curry sauce, and gravy, and stuff?" Yeah, I saw Footy Scran. They did I think it was like a pork bap with apple sauce, and all the Americans were like, apple sauce with pork. What are they doing?
No, this is a corn dog and Twinkie free zone. So. However, if Wendy's want to reach out and sponsor us or In and Out, then be our guest. In and Out burger, by the way, top tier. Top tier, Scran, if anyone's ever had one of those. Oh, that's all we got time for this week, lads. Off the back of a win, it's fantastic. One thing we need to do before we leave, though, is shout out the Wolves women. So they're playing at Molineux on Tuesday, the 9th of May. They're playing Starbridge FC ladies in the FA Women's County Cup final. Tickets are available on the Wolves website, adults from a £5. So make sure you get down there and support the Wolves women. Dave, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
Yeah, also, quickly on the Wolves women, by the way, final game of the season this Sunday. They're level at the top of the league with Forest, so they need to better Forest's result to win the league. So they can only get promoted if they win the league as well. So it's been a tight end to the season. But Dave has a party everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously the old LinkedIn. Thanks for today, boys. Enjoyed it.
Jord, where can people find you, mate?
Jord7 on Twitter, Instagram, and Jordan Russell on LinkedIn.
Finn?
Finn is on everything in FINERRZ and Finley Morris on LinkedIn. Have we got better goal difference, Dave, than Forest?
Nah, I saw like minus 20 goals difference.
That's a shame.
We're on the same point. But...
Don't we have to win like 19-0? Is it like a 19 goal swing, isn't it?
Yeah, 19-20 goal swing, yeah.
Doable.
Someone, a guy from work asked me if I wanted to go. It was a guy that I work like a work rep, and it's at Brighouse, which is like in Leeds. I said, probably not, if I'm honest, mate. No.
No, I probably wouldn't do that for the first in a minute.
No.
No. I am M Cooper Wrights and on Twitter, and Matt Cooper Bites on Twitter and YouTube. We of course are talking Wolves across all platforms. Let us know if you've liked the video. If you're new here, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up too. And until next time, hopefully we can tell you that Wolves are 100% safe rather than sit on the fence, and then we won't be any more podcasts for the rest of the season. Of course, we're just sorry it's a little bit late. We thought we'd obviously do a more extensive one. But until next time, enjoy yourselves and take care.